Welcome back, everyone. We have a really fascinating deep dive for you all today.
Yeah, this one is all about
Perimenopause.
irregular periods.
In your 40s and 50s, we got a great resource from one of our listeners
Yeah.
called The Menopause Mystery, Unlocking the Secrets of Irregular Periods and Taking Back Control of Your Body.
Love the title.
Right.
Really sets the stage for what we're about to talk about.
Definitely does.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we're going to crack this mystery wide open.
Absolutely.
And, just lay out what this all means for you as you are in this stage of life.
I think the book does a really good job of focusing on the unpredictable nature of, your cycle during this perimenopause time, that transition to menopause.
And, just listening to our listeners and, reading comments and stuff.
Yeah.
This is such a time of like, what's going on?
So much uncertainty.
Why is this happening?
Yeah, and I think what we want to do today is hopefully bring a little bit of clarity, share some insights from the book.
Absolutely.
And
empower you.
yeah, give you the tools and that feeling of being in control.
Yeah.
Which I think is what we all want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about the hormonal shifts,
Of course.
the common reasons why these changes are happening, some of the natural strategies that the book suggests to, regulate your cycle.
We're going to give you
when to seek medical advice.
when to go to the doctor.
For sure.
Yeah.
And just really try to,
Keep it positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a new chapter. This isn't, the end.
Exactly. It's a transition.
It's a transition.
Yeah.
So this is your own personal guide to, making sense of all of this without being overwhelmed.
And the book does such a great job at that. I think sometimes when you start reading about these things, it can feel like a lot.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Right. But I think the way this one's laid out,
very user-friendly.
it really breaks it down and makes it feel manageable.
It does. Okay, so the book really kicks off with explaining what is fundamentally going on in your body when you start to experience these irregular periods.
Right, because it can be really confusing. Like, okay, was my period always like this? I don't remember.
Right.
So it really starts with that foundation of hormones.
Okay.
And it explains how the menstrual cycle is primarily governed by these two hormones, estrogen and progesterone.
Okay.
And then it moves into like, okay, as we get into this perimenopause stage, those hormones, the production starts to become less consistent.
Inconsistent. That's a nice way to put it.
It is a nice way to put it.
The book describes estrogen as like this up and down.
Roller coaster.
Yeah.
It really is. And progesterone tends to decrease overall as we age.
Okay, so we've got estrogen going up and down, progesterone is going down.
Yep.
And
both of those together.
Both of those together.
Impact the cycle.
Impact the cycle.
And the book explains, ovulation.
Yeah.
Which, if we remember, is the release of an egg, and it's what triggers
Right.
all those hormonal events that lead to a period.
Okay.
If ovulation becomes irregular,
Makes sense.
you're going to have an irregular cycle.
Yeah, if ovulation isn't happening regularly, then your period isn't going to happen regularly.
Exactly.
So the book lays out how that irregularity can look like, maybe your period skips entirely. Maybe you just have spotting between cycles.
Right.
Maybe you have super heavy bleeding when you do get it.
Which can be really alarming when that happens. Because you're like, wait a minute, this is not what I'm used to.
Totally.
So it's good to know that that can be part of it.
Yeah. And the book has this analogy that I just love.
Oh, I love the analogy.
Your hormones, you're doing the cha-cha and you're just trying to keep up.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Like, you're just trying to figure out what step comes next.
What's the rhythm here?
Yeah.
What's going on?
And I think that really captures that feeling of just unpredictability that a lot of women experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's not just the changes in your period.
Right. There's this whole constellation of symptoms that go along with perimenopause.
Yeah, a book talks about hot flashes and night sweats.
Yeah. Those are often the ones that people think about first.
Yeah.
But it can be so much more than that.
Oh, absolutely. Mood swings.
Yeah.
Increased irritability.
Brain fog.
I was going to say brain fog.
Oh my gosh.
That's a big one for me.
Yeah. It's so frustrating.
Just feeling forgetful.
Yeah.
Like, what was I doing?
Where are my keys?
Yeah.
Where are my keys? What am I doing in this room?
Probably.
And even things like weight gain.
Yeah. Unexplained weight.
Unexplained and vaginal dryness.
Yes.
So all of these are potential indicators that your body is moving through this transition.
And so just having that awareness.
Yeah, I think that's key.
That it's not just like, oh, my period's irregular.
Right. It's all
There's all these other things that are happening too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the hormonal landscape laid out.
Yeah.
We've got some of the other signs.
Yeah.
But what are some of the common reasons why these irregular cycles are happening?
So the book goes into a lot of different things that can contribute.
Yeah.
But I think one of the first and most important things that it highlights is stress.
Stress.
It can be a huge disruptor.
Of everything.
I know, right?
Like it's just...
It's the root of all evil.
Of course.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to hormones.
Yes.
Because when you're stressed, your body is releasing cortisol.
Right.
And cortisol can interfere with progesterone.
Okay.
And with ovulation.
Well, so the book isn't just saying like, hey, stress is bad.
Right.
It's giving you tips and tricks.
It's giving you tools.
To manage it.
Yeah, like practical things you can do.
All right, the what?
So like deep breathing exercises.
Okay.
Like the 4-7-8 technique.
I love that one.
It's so simple, but so effective.
And just, taking time for yourself.
Setting boundaries.
Setting boundaries. Learning to say no.
Which can be so hard.
Oh, so hard.
But it's so important.
Yeah.
And then making sleep a priority, which when you're stressed...
You don't get any.
Right. It's a vicious cycle.
You're stressed, you don't sleep, you're more stressed.
Right.
So making sure you're getting enough sleep is huge.
Okay, so we've got stress.
Yep.
What about diet?
Diet is another big one.
Okay.
We all know that what we eat
It have a huge impact.
has a huge impact on our health.
Yes.
And the book actually goes into specific foods that can be disruptive to our hormones during this time.
Okay.
But then it also gives you foods that can actually be supportive.
Oh, okay. So it's not just like, don't eat this.
Right. It's like, here are some things that might not be serving you.
Yeah.
And here are some things that might be really beneficial.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so give me the don't eat this list.
Okay, so things to be mindful of.
Yes.
Caffeine.
Too much caffeine.
Too much caffeine
Okay.
because it can worsen stress
Okay.
and it can deplete magnesium,
Interesting.
which is something we need.
We do.
We're going to talk about magnesium a little bit later.
Okay.
Then refined sugars.
Which are in everything.
Oh, no. Right.
So hard to avoid.
And those can cause blood sugar spikes,
Okay.
which can impact hormone regulation.
Gotcha.
And then alcohol.
Oh, really?
Alcohol can contribute to something called estrogen dominance.
Estrogen dominance.
If estrogen dominance doesn't necessarily mean that you have too much estrogen overall.
Okay.
It's more about an imbalance between estrogen and progesterone.
I see.
So it's just something to be mindful of.
Okay, so those are things to maybe cut back on.
Yep.
What about things that I should eat more of?
Okay, so healthy fats.
Okay.
Things like avocados, nuts, olive oil.
Okay.
Because those are the building blocks for our hormones.
I love avocado.
Yeah, they're delicious. Leafy green vegetables.
Of course.
For magnesium.
Always.
Always. And then flax seeds,
Flax seeds.
which are a good source of phytoestrogens,
Okay.
which can help balance hormones.
So we're talking about like, putting them in a smoothie
Yeah.
or on top of a salad.
Yeah, you can sprinkle them on, you can add them to baked goods.
Okay, cool.
There's lots of ways to incorporate flax seeds.
I love that.
Okay, so it's all about finding that balance.
Yeah, it feels like everything.
It is all about balance.
With our health is about balance.
Exactly.
So, speaking of balance,
Oh, yes.
the book also talks about sleep and exercise.
Two of my favorite things.
Mine too. And again, finding that balance.
Yes, because we can go too far in either direction.
Yes, we can.
So the book talks about getting enough sleep, ideally 7 to 9 hours a night.
Okay.
That is like the golden range
Oh.
for hormonal harmony.
For everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you have trouble sleeping, it even suggests things like magnesium supplements or calming herbal teas,
Okay.
like chamomile lavender, things like that.
So then, exercise.
Exercise, yes.
I love to go for a run, but maybe.
Maybe not all the time.
Okay.
Maybe switch it up.
Okay.
Because if you're doing really intense cardio all the time,
It stresses you out.
it can stress your body
Okay.
and it can increase those cortisol levels. So maybe swap out some of those intense workouts for
Right.
things that are a little bit gentler on your body.
Like yoga.
Yoga, strength
yeah.
training,
Walk.
even just getting out in nature.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So gentle movement.
Gentle movement.
Okay, so we've talked about managing stress
Yeah.
through diet,
Mhm.
sleep, exercise.
Yeah.
The book also talks about some natural remedies
Yes.
that can help regulate your cycle.
This is where we get into the world of adaptogenic herbs.
Ooh, I love adaptogenic
They're
herbs.
so cool, right?
I know they really help your body adapt to stress
Mhm.
and support your hormones.
And they're gentle.
Yes.
They're not like a pharmaceutical drug.
Oh,
They're very gentle and supportive.
okay. So what are some of the ones that the book mentions?
So ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha.
Have you tried ashwagandha?
I have. It's great.
It is great.
And it's really good for reducing cortisol levels
Oh.
and then helping to balance estrogen and progesterone.
Oh, so it's like a double whammy.
Awesome.
And then maca root.
Maca root.
Have you tried maca?
I have.
It's great for energy,
Yes.
libido, and also hormone balance.
Wow.
It's like a trifecta.
Maca is a wonder herb.
It really is.
Okay, so I've got ashwagandha, we've got maca.
And then Vitex,
Yeah.
also known as chasteberry.
Okay.
And that one is really good for promoting progesterone production.
Okay, so if your progesterone's low,
Yeah.
Vitex can help.
Vitex can be really helpful.
Okay.
And it can help regulate your cycle.
Awesome. And the book recommends just taking these every day.
Yeah, you can take them every day in a variety of forms.
Okay.
Like capsules, powders. You can even drink them as teas.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So it's really easy to incorporate.
Love that. Okay, so moving on.
The book also talks about some specific nutrients
Okay.
that are really important for this time of life. And magnesium is one of them.
Magnesium.
We talked about it earlier with stress.
Yeah.
It's also really helpful for PMS symptoms.
Yeah.
Cramps. Yeah.
General stress relief.
What's the dose?
The book suggests around 300 to 400 milligrams.
Okay.
And you can take that at night before bed.
Okay.
And then vitamin D.
Vitamin D.
So important for estrogen balance.
Okay, so get some sunshine.
Get some sunshine.
Or take a supplement.
Or take a supplement if you live somewhere where you don't get a lot of sun.
Exactly.
And then omega-3 fatty acids,
Omega-3.
which are great for inflammation
Okay.
and overall hormone health.
And where do I get those?
Salmon,
Salmon.
flax seeds,
Okay.
fish oil supplements.
Okay.
So there are lots of ways to get them.
So it's like food first?
Food first always.
Yeah. And then if you need to supplement, you can.
Exactly.
Okay. And then this is really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
The book talks about cycle syncing your diet.
Cycle syncing.
Yeah, have you heard of this?
I have. It's really cool.
Okay, so tell me about it. So basically, you're aligning your food intake
Okay.
with the different phases of your menstrual cycle.
Yep.
Because your hormonal needs change.
Throughout your cycle.
Yeah.
So what do I eat when?
Okay, so in the follicular phase, which is the first half of your cycle,
Mhm.
the book suggests focusing on lighter proteins,
Like what?
like chicken, fish, tofu,
Okay.
things that are easy to digest,
Okay.
and fresh vegetables.
Lots of veggies.
Lots of veggies.
Got it.
And then in the luteal phase, which is the second half of your cycle,
Okay.
it shifts to more healthy fats
Okay.
and warming, grounding foods,
Like what?
like root vegetables, sweet potatoes, things like that.
Okay. And the book gives like a sample meal plan.
It does, which I think is so helpful.
I love that.
Because it gives you a starting point.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here's what a day could look like.
So what would a day look like?
So breakfast, oatmeal with flax seeds and berries.
Okay.
Lunch, grilled salmon with quinoa and greens.
Yeah.
And then dinner, roasted sweet potatoes with avocado and chicken.
I would eat that.
Right.
That sounds delicious.
It's very balanced. It gives you protein, healthy fats, fiber.
Yeah.
It's ticking all the boxes.
This is all so good.
I know, right?
Just to understand our bodies and to know.
Like what we can do to support ourselves naturally.
Yeah. So we've talked about all these amazing natural things.
Yeah.
But at what point do we need to go to the doctor?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And the book actually has a whole section
Okay.
on when to seek medical advice.
Okay.
And it lays out some red flags,
Red flags.
like things you should look out for.
Okay.
So if your period is lasting longer than 10 days,
Okay.
that's a red flag.
God.
If you're having really heavy bleeding.
Soaking through a pad or tampon.
Yeah, in an hour or less.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a lot of blood.
That's a lot.
And that's something you want to talk to your doctor about.
Okay.
Severe pain or cramping.
Like can't get out of bed pain.
Yeah, that's disrupting your daily life.
Okay.
You definitely want to talk to your doctor about that.
And then if your periods completely stop before the age of 45.
That's a big one.
Okay.
That's something you want to talk to your doctor about.
Because that's not.
That's not typical.
Yeah. Okay, so if we experience any of those things,
See your doctor.
go to the doctor.
Yeah.
But the book also gives us questions to ask the doctor.
Yes, it's so good.
Okay.
So that you can be prepared.
Like, what are my options for regulating my cycle?
Yes, Greg.
Are there natural things? Are there medical things?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else?
Should I have my hormones tested?
Okay.
Do I need an ultrasound?
To rule out fibroids or polyps?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just having those questions ready can help you feel more empowered.
In that appointment. Yeah, because sometimes
you get in there and you're like,
you forget.
I don't know what to ask.
A goalie
So having them written down.
is so helpful.
Yeah, it's so helpful.
Okay, so we've talked about the physical changes,
Yeah.
the strategies to manage them,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
There's the mental and emotional side of this, too.
Oh, absolutely. Our mindset is so important.
And this book really emphasizes that.
Yeah, chapter 5 is all about embracing change with confidence.
Ooh, I love that.
It's so good, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's so important because it's so easy to get caught up.
In the negative.
Yeah, and all the negative stories
Yeah.
and the stereotypes.
Absolutely.
But this book really encourages us to see it as a positive transition.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
So how do we do that?
So one of the things it suggests is finding a supportive community,
Okay.
whether that's an online forum
Yeah.
or a local menopause support group.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so helpful to connect with other women.
Who are going through the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then prioritizing self-care
Tough care.
without guilt.
I love that.
Yeah, because we often feel guilty
Oh my gosh.
for taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's like giving yourself permission
Permission
to do things you enjoy.
to take care of myself.
Yeah.
Like taking a walk.
Yeah.
Journal.
Yoga.
Taking a bath.
Yeah. Anything that fills you up.
Reading a book.
Yes. Anything. And even thinking about skincare.
Oh, yeah.
Using products that are specifically designed
For hormonal changes.
for hormonal changes.
Okay.
So it's really about taking care of yourself
Yeah.
from the inside out.
I love that. If you are really enjoying this deep dive and you're loving all this information
Yeah.
and you want more, we have more for you at https.payhip.com/Flourish Reads.
Okay, so we've covered a lot.
We have.
We've gone from, the ins and outs of hormones
Yeah.
to all the different ways that we can support ourselves naturally.
Naturally and medically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the biggest takeaway for you from this book?
I think just that, these changes are a normal part of life.
Yeah.
Like
It's a normal part of aging.
it's a normal part of aging.
Yeah.
And that there are things we can do.
Yeah.
We don't have to suffer.
We don't. No.
Yeah.
So the book really emphasizes tracking your symptoms.
Oh, yeah. That's huge.
Yeah. Because just being aware
Of what's happening.
of your own patterns,
They make you feel.
more in control.
Yes. So track your symptoms.
Yep.
Make some dietary changes. Maybe try some adaptogenic herbs.
Yeah.
Prioritize sleep.
Sleep is so important.
Yes. And manage your stress.
Stress management is key.
Key. And then, of course, if you experience those red flags,
Talk to your doctor.
yes.
Yeah.
But the overarching message of this book,
Is that this is a time to thrive.
I love that.
Yeah. Like, this is not a time to shrink back.
Yeah.
This is a time to really step into your power
Yeah.
and to embrace this next chapter.
Yes. And to, feel good
Yeah.
in your body and in your life.
Absolutely.
What's a thought that we can all carry with us from this deep dive?
I think for me, it's that understanding these changes
Yeah.
that are happening inside of us, those fluctuating hormones,
Yeah.
is the first step
Yeah.
to finding your new normal
Yes.
and embracing this next chapter.
I love that. So what's a small action that you can take today based on what we've talked about?
Even just making a list
Yeah.
of those things that you want to try
Yeah.
or those red flags that you want to be aware of.
Absolutely. And if you want more information,
Yeah, we have tons of resources
we do.
over at https.payhip.com/Flourish Reads.
Thank you for taking this deep dive with us.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to the Flourish Reads podcast.